Breaking news from TikTok, the social media app, saying it is in the process of restoring service after going dark for more than 170 million American users.
Breaking news. TikTok is back in the United States. Check out this news report and I'll come back with my comments.
Breaking news from TikTok, the social media app, saying it is in the process of restoring service after going dark for more than 170 million American users late last night. In a statement, the company says President-elect Trump gave it the clarity that service providers would not be penalized. Congress passed the bipartisan bill last April that led to a current banning of TikTok, but it was Trump who signed an executive order, you'll remember, in August of 2020 to step up pressure on the Chinese-owned app to sell to an American company. Now, Trump is saying he wants the U.S. to have a 50% ownership stake between ByteDance or new owners. Joining us now for more on this, cybersecurity and data protection expert Caitlin Sarian. Caitlin, thanks for taking the time and being with us. Let's start by getting your reaction to TikTok's announcement on a restoration of service.
That's great news. A lot of creators up in arms right now, crying, lost a lot of money. So I'm seeing, stuff on social media, like people are like in an uproar right now, but looks like they're going to have an extension, most likely 90 days until, Trump and the new regime can figure some things out. They're going to have to sell that to the U.S. We got to get 50% plus of the ownership stake in order for this to really stay in the United States.
Yeah, I've been in shock for the last 48 hours. I was in denial. And then last night when it went out, I was in shock and I just kind of stared at my phone. I'm pretty excited to see what happens in the future. And this is looking good for the 170 million of us that are on TikTok. But I think it's been a roller coaster of emotions for a lot of us that are content creators on the platform.
So online, you are known as Cybersecurity Girl. You create content specifically educating your viewers on topics like data protection and privacy, things of that nature. Congress and the Supreme Court say this is a national security risk, not necessarily just TikTok, but apps owned by foreign adversaries or companies that are from a foreign adversary. Do you believe Americans' information is really at risk here?
I ain't really on TikTok like that. I have a couple channels, maybe about 10,000 followers combined. I'm usually YouTube, Instagram, a little bit of Snapchat, Facebook here and there. But again, if there's a risk, things got to be figured out because I know the U.S., they're trying their best to crack down on these apps, especially these Chinese apps.
Well, as a cybersecurity professional, you know that everything is a risk, right? You always have to take a risk-based approach. So every service, every website, every app that you use and download, every time you're giving your information to someone, no matter who it is, you have to take a risk-based approach. And for me personally, when I heard back when TikTok was going to partner with Oracle and try to move their services over to the US, I think this was 3.5, almost 4 years ago now, I started feeling more comfortable going on the platform. So before I actually didn't go on the platform, I took that risk-based approach. I said, I don't feel comfortable giving my data to China at that moment in time. When I heard that TikTok was starting to partner with Oracle, I decided, hey, my risk-based approach it's okay because I feel like my purpose is bigger and I'm going to be able to reach a larger audience. And that was my risk-based approach. But every single individual has to take that approach, no matter if it's TikTok, whatever app you're using, and just knowing who you're sharing your information with, there's always a risk, especially when it comes to China or other foreign adversaries as well.
I think there's risk with a lot of apps. But again, my main thing is if I'm searching for something, all of a sudden I see an ad on these social media sites. So something's definitely going on. Information is power. Information equals money. Having that user database, a lot of money can be made, especially with advertising. So be on the lookout, stay clear, and just kind of know what you're doing when you're on social media.
Yeah, I think most Americans, I get personal texts to my personal phone from politicians asking me, all sorts of things. Like everybody gets my information. So I think a lot of Americans are like, wait a minute, everybody has our information, but this is different. This is about foreign adversaries and what they could possibly do. You worked at TikTok, right? I want to know if you think, could you ever imagine a day when we'd be at this point?
No. And again, TikTok was always about inspiring creativity and bringing joy. So I actually started my TikTok and then Ironically, I got my job at TikTok from my TikTok. So I grew really well on TikTok for about a year. And then I applied to a job at TikTok because I was so passionate about their mission. And it completely changed my life. And I know it's completely changed so many of my friends around me life. It impacts so many small businesses. It's unbelievable. And it is a little bit ironic that I truly feel like the TikTok app is the American dream, right? It's allowing people to reach worldwide. It's allowing small businesses to expand outside of their small hometowns. It's really bringing in tons of money for American citizens. And so I had such a passion and purpose. I really, really wanted to work there. And seeing all the behind the scenes, I want to preface that I did not work there's two separate TikToks, right? There's a TikTok US. After Trump had stated that he wanted to bring it more to the US or sell to the US. So they started splitting off. There's a TikTok US specifically, and then there's a TikTok Global. And I actually worked at TikTok Global. So I didn't see or touch any of the US data. We were solely focused on everything outside of the US. So all the other countries that use TikTok. But the team that I know that worked at TikTok US, like dedicated individuals, ex-FBI, ex-CIA agents, and then they are, again, partnering with Oracle. So I really felt comfortable with them. But again, it's a risk-based decision. Obviously, I don't know what the Supreme Court saw. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that I didn't have any privy of seeing. And a lot of the American citizens don't, which is why most of us are very confused and hurt and upset and shocked. But I truly believe that our government is doing this to protect the United States as a whole, even if we might not see it that way. So again, it's hard for me because I see both sides, right? I absolutely love the platform. I've seen how much it impacts people, but I also see the negative side effects of apps and just cybersecurity as a whole. So it's very hard for me to judge. All I know is personally, I don't regret my decision of going on TikTok. It's completely changed my life, and I know it's changed so many other people's lives as well.
Caitlin Sarian, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us about it. I do appreciate it.
So that's where we're at with it. TikTok is officially back. I believe it's just temporary until they can figure some things out. I've seen Elon Musk. He's willing to buy it. Mr. Beast, he can probably buy it just because I know he has multiple hundreds of millions. Plus, if you got an investor group, you can find your way and try to get the app. So again, all that seems cool, the data breaches and all that. But if you want to own TikTok, you're going to have to really try to put up a lot of money. But I don't really have no issues with TikTok. Again, it's a useful tool. I'm not on it as much, but now that it looks like it's back temporarily, I may need to start posting more, see if I can build an audience. But it's all about revenue for me. If there's a way to make money legit, I'm going to go for it. But again, there's so much money being made in the U.S. with TikTok. I think they're going to find a way to kind of keep it going in the U.S. But the main thing is, who are they going to sell it to? Is it going to be Elon? Is it going to be Mr. Beast? Is it going to be Kevin O'Leary? I heard his name in the mix. So there's people that got access to these billions of dollars that can possibly buy TikTok. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I'll keep y'all updated.